Another weekly Catalyst Watch as we talk about what's going on in the world of earnings, what's going on in the world of CPI, and so much more. I'm Gav Blacksburg here with Evan and Brad. We're the Alphabet. Let's hop right into it and take a look at this week's earnings from a high-level perspective. The big boys. We know that we've got Trade Desk, Disney, Palantir, and a bunch others. You can take a second if you want to pause here. This shows you before market, after market, and if you go to savvytrader.com, you can see all of the actual numbers and expectations. But let's roll through some of them on the individual days, along with the catalysts that are going to be happening. Brad, let me turn it to you to kick us off.
Yeah, so Monday, all eyes really turned to Palantir. So I know a few people on Twitter do care a little bit about this company, so we'll cover it here. But really, this is going to be a matter of sales cycle elongation improvement. So it's been a story of haves versus have-nots in software land. We heard companies like ServiceNow saying sales cycle elongation is a thing of the past. Our pipeline is rocking, and the second half is going to be great. Then we heard ZoomInfo say macro stinks and we're not doing well and we need to take down our guidance because sales cycle elongation is hurting us. So some companies are blaming macro. When you see a small portion of companies blaming macro and another portion of them overcoming it, it generally points to micro-based investment cases kind of bearing fruit, and maybe macro being more of an excuse that companies are blaming. Now, these companies don't do the exact same thing, but still something to keep an eye on. And in the world of generative AI and data is the new oil and all of these things, Palantir should be a key player, and it should be an accelerant to its demand. It should be a good quarter. Now, the stock has gone absolutely gangbusters over the last several months. So these kind of setups often coincide with stellar reports and then a weak stock reaction. We saw it with Shopify. We've seen it with a lot of others that just have gotten maybe a little bit ahead of themselves near term. But Palantir, how's the sales cycle looking? That's going to be the key.
Perfect. Yeah, I think you made a great point. There's also a AI conference that people should keep an eye out on. And then, you can see kind of towards the top here, option trading volume and short interest is heating up on some of these names. We've seen Tupperware and Yellow and others that are just shooting across the screen. So do keep an eye out for them, but be careful because these things can come down as fast as they come up. All right, Evan, we're rolling into Tuesday. Let me turn it over to you to cover it. A little bit of a smaller day, but we still got Datadog and some others.
Tuesday will be a fun time. I think UPS in the morning will tell us more about the logistics environment. We have had a lot of other names in the area, but I will still be excited to hear from them. Li Auto, Li Auto, and Datadog will be fun to watch as well. And then I believe we have Rivian after the close. Tell us a little bit more about the EV space following on Lucid from Monday. So I am looking forward to all of those ones. Well, if anyone's there that I didn't hit, we also have a bunch of Fed presidents speaking this week, so definitely be aware of those. But yeah, any of those earnings you're excited about, Wolf?
I would say the one other one is BBAI, kind of a name that's gone back under the radar since this whole AI storm came up, but it used to be that it was AI, C3AI, BBAI, and SOUN as kind of those main catalyst ones. So with earnings coming up, I wouldn't be surprised to see a 10 to 20% move. So I'm going to be watching it. And then honestly, I'm probably not going to play it. Instead, I would look for the sympathy plays to those other two off of BBAI's move. Wednesday, the action heats back up again. Brad, you want to kick us off, and then Evan, you want to hop in?
Yeah, I'm going to cover three very quickly, and then let Evan talk on top of that. But so Disney, sentiment has gotten about as poor as it has been for this company in my lifetime and in our lifetimes. I'm 26 years old. It's been a long time. Maybe great financial crisis, but the point is that investor appetite is pretty minuscule right now. So want to hear things about what they're doing with ESPN and if they secured any financing partners or distribution contracts. We heard some rumors about them partnering with Apple. Now we saw them at the Vision Pro event, so they clearly are pretty buddy, but partnering with them on distributing Disney Plus content throughout iPhones in some kind of bundle. But it's also going to be a matter of what Bob Iger says in terms of asset sales, because he has contemplated and he has publicly contemplated in interviews very recently trimming some of the maybe more cash burning assets that aren't really delivering for the company right now and focusing on the prize assets of maybe Disney Plus and Hulu and their cash printing parks, which are maybe dealing with some weather issues. So just a lot of near-term pressures on Disney's business. We're still dealing with the post-pandemic streaming hangover and slower subscriber growth, lapping explosive subscriber growth. But again, sentiment's really bad. So if the quarter is upbeat, if they say nice things about how the next 3 months are looking, it could be rewarded. Now I'm speculating, and we'll see what happens. But sentiment is very bad on Disney right now, to say the least. Now, the other one that I'm going to be very focused on is the trade desk. So key holding, core holding for me. We've seen YouTube and Alphabet. We've seen Meta and their family of apps all say ad demand is improving. Ad spend appetite is building, and that will directly benefit the trade desk business as an open internet programmatic advertising platform on the demand side, helping publishers match with ad inventory in the most effective way possible. I'm sorry, I misspoke. Helping advertisers match with the most effective publishers and their inventory as possible. My bad. But they always beat. I mean, I've owned this company for several years. They've never not beat and raised. But that means a beat and raise is expected. So it's got to be maybe a bigger beat and raise in order for it to get rewarded. Another company like Palantir, where the stock has just gone absolutely nuts over the last year. So maybe a lot is priced in terms of what people are expecting. So they need to deliver. They always deliver, but they need to this quarter as well. Roblox, I'm going to pass it over to Evan to talk about Roblox or whatever he wants to for Wednesday.
I got absolutely nothing on Roblox.
Sorry to put you on the spot, my man.
Fun time. It's cool that they are going over to the Meta Quest headset. I saw they had either 1 billion or 2 billion downloads in the open beta. See more talk on that one, but I am a fan of the platform that Roblox is. That it's a game and you could build on top of it. So you can really get these kids in there for forever and really playing something new. I think it's not something that everyone does realize. But looking over to Thursday, for me, there are a couple things that are happening on Thursday. The biggest thing is CPI. We're going to get more inflation data for July, hoping to see the continued downtrend, but looking forward to what we get. I know the Fed will be as well. We also have a couple earnings, not as big as some of the other days. We have Alibaba. Hear more about how that breakup is going to go, I think, and just more conversations around that. I know it quickly got back over 100. I haven't looked. And then we do also have IonQ after the close, News Corp, and some others. So not some big names, but I know IonQ has become a FinTwit name. But sorry, Brad, any names you're watching on this one?
Just one other name that maybe isn't on this calendar but is reporting this week is Duolingo. So I know a lot of our listeners probably use the app. They've got a massive following, but just this whole world of app economy and haves and have-nots and the Snapchats of the world struggling and the Match Groups and the Metas of the world thriving. I expect Duolingo to be in that thriving group, just like pretty much everyone else does. So expectations sky high, and we'll see how they do.
Yeah, good points. I'm definitely looking forward to Baba because I think that Baba is kind of that bridge as well between a lot of the US and Chinese stocks. And when Baba can report and show strong report and show believable numbers, that does wonders for some of the other areas. But then outside of that, Baba have been beaten down. I've traded calls on it lately. I, among many others, think that there's a lot of opportunity and the technical setup looks really nice as well. So good points there on IonQ and some of the others. There's also a DEF CON hacker convention. There's a Wayfair Investor Day and some other pieces that people can keep an eye on. But CPI is going to be that big thing for that day. And so catch us on Twitter Spaces probably somewhere in the morning talking about that. Friday is going to wrap up the week. You've got the latest University of Michigan consumer sentiment update to be released. So that's going to be coming out. We're going to go over the calendar in just a second for all the little data points that you're going to be watching. So watch for that on the next screen. But kind of pulling up a little bit. Sorry, I got a little distracted there beforehand, catching the audience up to us on the screen. But with that being said, the only other thing that I want to point out is that Friday is my birthday, so hopefully the stock market does go up. With that being said, let's get right into the actual little data pieces here. So Evan, I'm going to turn it back to you. We've covered this mostly, but like you did mention, CPI, some of the other little pieces that are coming in and out. Anything else people should be watching that might move the market?
You talked a little bit about the consumer sentiment on Friday. We didn't touch on PPI at all, which will be very fascinating. People will be watching that. A lot of Fed presidents will be speaking this week. There was a couple on Tuesday, a couple on Monday, and all spread throughout. Trade balance data, but for me, when I'm looking at the macro front, it is very much CPI, PPI, and yeah, those are the two on watch for me. What about you, Brad?
Yeah, I mean, producer price index, no one else agrees with me, but I almost focus on that even more than CPI just because producer pricing always leads consumer pricing. Consumer pricing is a reaction function to what input costs look like for most producers. So We'll be laser focused on that data point as well. We've got 2 months until another Fed meeting. They don't talk again. Well, I guess now a month and a half, but they don't talk again until September or make a rate decision until September. And these are going to be these meetings, CPI and PPI, are going to be just two very important data points forming the puzzle of what leads to whatever decision they make with quantitative tightening and where the Fed funds rate goes from here.
Good points, guys. We wanted to keep this one pretty short, digestible for everybody for the week ahead, but we're still in the thick of earnings, so make sure you're paying attention. Brad, any final comments you'd like to share?
No, sir. Going to be another fun week. Can't wait.
Looking forward to it. Evan?
Nope. All you.
All right. Everybody, make sure before you end this video, go and hit that subscribe button. Give us a like. It really helps in the algorithm. We take time out of our weekends to make these, and we hope you appreciate them. We've got some more big videos coming up, breakdown of big tech earnings and more. So keep an eye out on the channel. Talk to you all